Hey guys, welcome to this month's deal review. Every month I do a video taking you through the recent deals that I've posted in my Facebook group from clients. We'll go through 8 deals. And the reason you should stick around is we'll go through what makes these deals fantastic, what types of property, the factors in which we're looking at to make these deals actually super successful. And we'll also talk about some of the SUBURB aspects and just how to get these deals as well. It's so important for all new or experienced property investors to aim for the moon, try to shoot the rhinoceros, so to speak. That is what my clients do. You'll learn so much. Stick around. All these deals are verifiable. They've been posted in my Facebook group with almost 40,000 people, Australian Property Mastery with PK. The clients are tagged. I found that other YouTubers, etc., are posting deals these days which are actually fake. The numbers are fake. The images are fake. The reason I know is because one of my clients was like, hey PK, this other YouTuber posted a deal, but actually my property, and I didn't use them as a buyer's agent. So it's really important to verify all these success stories, okay? So every client is tagged. You can DM them and verify it for yourself and join, okay? I post a deal every 2 days in my Facebook group from a client for years. For more than 3 or 4 years I've been doing that. There are literally thousands of deals there. Join that Facebook group, but stick around for these next 10 deals and you'll learn so much. Number 1, 78,250 instant equity by settlement with 6.5% yield. Serious agent blend. I'll take you the pictures and everything, but this one's by a wonderful client's name's Alex. As you can see, he's tagged. So how, this is where it comes into the how. How do you get $78,000 instant equity? What he did is he obviously went through the buying process with one bank. As soon as the property settled, he went to another bank and got it refinanced. Normally you have to wait 3 months to get a property refinanced. He didn't because he switched banks, and this was what the new bank valued at. It's not his opinion, not my opinion, not your opinion. This is the bank valuation official. Even if it's maybe $5,000, $10,000 optimistic, that's still $70K that he's made basically in 30 to 45 days. And the reason, he was educated, so he was able to know more about the property than the agent. And the agent, to be honest, the sales agent, just did their own client, the seller, a massive disservice. Okay, so he's got 19% instant capital growth. This is instant. This is not like, oh, let's wait 3 years for 19%. This is instant. Okay, and it's actually a really premium suburb, 14 kilometers from the Perth CBD. So this isn't like down in, past Bunbury or anything like that. This is prime real estate. And like I said, the investor simply outsmarted the vendor and agent. Okay, here's the picture here. The landscaping, I think something can be done to make it a little bit more attractive from an owner-occupier street appeal. But nonetheless, that's just cosmetic things that can be fixed up with $5,000 or $10,000. Actually, really solid house. Number 2, 32,000. This is the same person, by the way. Okay, so this is the second deal. Alex, he's kicking goals. $32,000 instant equity off-market deal. So a lot of people say, oh, look, to get off-market deals, you need to go to a buyer's agent. You don't, honestly. You just need to be persistent and patient and develop a relationship over the phone with a real estate agent over the course of a few weeks. 6.2% yield property. Now he's got 2 properties in 6 months, and this one, not quite 19% instant equity, but 6.4%. That's basically a whole year's worth of work instantly. And he's going to buy another 2 this year and 3 in 2024. So this gives you the mindset or attitude of someone who is really just starting their property investing, but is going to get ahead financially very quickly. This is their mindset, calculated action. That's what it takes. And it's a huge block, like I said, not on realestate.com or domain. Most off-market deals are rubbish. This wasn't a rubbish one, okay? And he's now bought twice without a buyer's agent. Total fees saved $30,000. If he continues to do this, which he will, and gets to his 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th property, he's going to save $100,000 in buyer's agent fees. That's 2 house deposits. Think about that, okay? The purchase price on this one was $500K. Total funds required was $100K. The last one was even less. Rent is $600 per week. and amazing data factors, all the way from building approvals below our thresholds to online search interest being really high in terms of as a ratio, to job advertisements trending up, to things like the income story versus relative factors, not absolute incomes, but relative to state, etc., being really healthy. Everything is really lining up for the suburb really well. 800 square meters, which is fantastic. Brick home, 0.28% vacancy. And this is a second property in Perth, and he's bought from Melbourne without catching a single flight both times. He's built that team to do the due diligence on the property for him for free around him, like the property manager, of course, the building inspector as well. And he's self-sufficient. He's doing this again, like I was saying, he's planning to buy another 6 properties in the next 18 months to 2 years. And that's how true passive income is built, generationally, instantaneously, but also generational wealth, legacy wealth, which is what we like to see. Here's the second property. I have to say this is off market, so these aren't like the most recent pictures. They're not the most fantastic pictures because it wasn't listed on Real Estate or Domain, but nonetheless, here they are. Number 3, remarkably well located, 7% yield, set and forget property under 350K. So if you only got like a deposit of 50,000, 60,000, you can buy these properties because that's all it takes. This one required total funds less than 60 to buy 350K, and getting this yield with growth, like there's no trade-off required. It's just top shelf property investing, really neat and tidy, low maintenance, okay? Unless you want to add value and problem solve, that's one way to make money. If you're just like really busy at work, just try to find low maintenance property. Don't outsource that, because things like hot water cylinders, and whether there's cracking in the walls or there's like moisture in the ceilings or drainage issues, you need to do your due diligence on that. Don't outsource it to like a buyer's agent who has an incentive to sell you that property. Get an independent professional like a property manager. They'll do a much better job. Really close to university and hospitals. That doesn't mean that it's going to grow in the short term, okay, but that's a good long-term factor to maintain that demand around that part of the suburb. And large attractive block for tenants with families. When you buy an investment property, always try cater it for the local demographic, and 9 times out of 10 the local demographic is families. You want that backyard, you want it, if you want to have kids, you want them to be able to have a good time. Spacious property, that's what we want to try buy, and that's exactly what Brendan did. This is for $332,500. Rent per week is $450. Data factors are fantastic. 713 square meters, 0.23% vacancy. He's bought this one in Queensland from Sydney. Okay, and like he was saying, there's just too much information or misinformation online. Everyone trying to sell you and try to make a quick buck, and it's really easy to make mistakes. So he went deep, educated himself, invested in the 6 inches between his 2 ears, and this is the result. Okay, I mean, what family of tenants wouldn't like to occupy this type of property? Real basic, neat and tidy, long-term foundational asset for any property investor. Number 4, this is actually Brendan's second. So you can see he's tagged, okay? If you want, you can DM him. Second, higher than 6% yield property in the bag, Queensland and Perth. Now it says diversified. This one's in Perth. And this one actually has 0 vacancy, all right? So vacancy risk is never a risk if you follow data. And it's not hard to see, right? You just look at vacancy rates. If they're less than 1 or 2%, great. Rental growth has been consistent over the last 12 to 24 months, at least at 5%. Great. Okay, that's how long-term portfolios cash flow reduce that risk. Under 450K, really close to the Perth CBD. Not that that matters, but I'm just listing that there just to give an indication that this sort of price range, you can get something in Perth metropolitan proper. Okay, it's not closer to the city, it's going to grow anymore, but I'm just trying to give you some context. And here's another tip: 2 living spaces. Okay, so once again, we want to buy a property that future owner occupiers will want, because that increases resaleability, but we also want to buy a property which tenants love, and tenants love 2 living spaces. The mum and dad can do something in one part of the house, the kids can mess around in the other part of the house. That's what is a complete bonus, in terms of a property to buy. And he's bought now twice without a buyer's agent. He himself has saved, again, $30,000. All right, 427K is the purchase price, less than 80K required to get on this one. 500 a week in rent, was basically pays for itself. Great data, 685 square meters, 0.28% vacancy. You can see the numbers of these types of properties we're buying is very similar. Once again, bought in Perth from Sydney again. And look, data doesn't lie. I could lie, you could lie, Brendan could lie, but data does not lie. Neither do these numbers and neither do the results. So when you're investing in real estate, I know it's hard. Try take your predispositions and biases and confirmation biases, put it to the side, just follow data. Data will get you out of your 9 to 5. Okay, it's not your emotions, because it's the emotions that got you in to the place where you want to escape in the first place. Okay, follow objective, cold, hard facts. They don't care about your feelings. Facts don't care about your feelings. Here's the property. Could you or would you want to live in there? I probably wouldn't want to live in this one, but that doesn't matter. Okay, follow the numbers. Other people do. Here's the number 5 property, and this is no particular order. 7.5% high yield deal in a fiercely hot Queensland suburb bought with just $50,000. All right, so 6-tenant application in the first 24 hours. This is the type of property we want to buy. Once again, we're leaning very heavily on the property manager to tell us, okay, is this the right pocket within the street? Is this the right pocket within the suburb, to validate our own quantitative and qualitative research? And then we know that, yes, it's going to go like a hotcake in terms of the rental market, close to schools and universities and shops, all fantastic attributes that you don't need to do a course to figure out, and premium features in a modern renovated kitchen. Whenever you're buying a property that's sort of older than 20, 30, 40 years old, you want to make sure it's not in original condition, because otherwise in the first 1 or 2 years of owning that property, you're going to fork out $10,000, $20,000 to, replace everything, and the tenants will have a whole bunch of issues. Try to find something that's renovated. As this is such a high yield, this is positively cash flowing property. Sam Kennedy's done a terrific job, bought for just $307,000. Funds required less than 50. Market rent is $440 per week. Great data, big block size, 6 and 11. You don't really want to buy properties under 500 so much unless there's some sort of twist to it. So a good land to asset ratio, which is what we're looking for. Vacancy rate 0.4%. It's bought in Queensland from Sydney. And data and mentoring can truly accelerate your property investing journey. I see so many of you guys going around in circles. You might have some data, but you don't have all of the data. You don't have like this person to hold your hand. You might have some mentors, unofficial or official, but you don't have the right data. You don't have the right interpretation of the data. Anyone can interpret data in a million which ways. All right, it's these two combinations, mentoring and data, that are really required for you to become an expert and sustainable long-term property investor. Here it is. This is what I mean. This is the kitchen. This is very beautiful. All right, this is vinyl. I don't think it's real wood, and you want to go with something like this where it's lower maintenance, because the tenants aren't going to polish or stain the wooden floors every now and then. But this is beautiful. Backyard, everything's super nice. Property number 6, again, terrific yield, 7.3% high yield cash flow property in a hot Queensland suburb under 350k. So these are the suburbs, like we're buying in those regional Queensland locations. Okay, it doesn't take Einstein to figure out where we're buying. Still some very select properties in Toowoomba, places like Rocky, places like Townsville, not Mackay, okay, not Gladstone. These types of areas, of course, all these areas, well, many of them have flood areas. Some of them are really got dodgy areas. It all comes down to suburb. And actually, I think more important than suburb selection in some cases is like, especially in North Queensland, is like property selection, the right suburb street, the right suburb pocket. You want to be in the owner-occupier kind of aspirational part, the best pocket in that suburb. And there are various ways to figure that out. After suburb selection, there's another 30, 35 factors to figure out where within that suburb you should be buying. Everyone wants to know what's the hot spot. That's not going to make you money, honestly. It's just really not going to make you money, especially in this type of place where it's actually hard to buy property. You need to know not only where to buy, but how to buy. How is just, if not more important than where to buy. That's my spiel anyway. This is bought in a multiple offer scenario, actually beating multiple buyers agents in many cases across these deals. Close to schools, university, army barracks. Okay, there you go. There's a bit of a clue as to where it is. Low maintenance house, and he's bought this once again, or Srini has bought this, I should say, tagged. You can go DM them without paying a buyer's agent, $15,000. Purchase price $326,200. Total funds required less than $60,000. Rent is $460. So amazing rent. Great data. I mean, these are this type of data that not all people know about, and even if they know about, they misinterpret it. You can easily say, oh, renter proportion should be less than 40, but you can actually flex that. You can actually buy in a suburb where the renter proportion is slightly more than 40%, so long as in the last 5 years vacancy has been very low. So you know that even though there's a lot of rental properties, there's more than enough tenants long term, not just in the current rental crisis, to absorb that. So it's even like really proficient buyers agents have no idea around these kind of checks and balances. Data is not one dimensional, it's multi-dimensional, and you need to look at it in different views in terms of trends and thresholds. It's very easy to figure out, but you just need to know it, right? Once you know it, you can run with it. It's like a baton in a 4x100 relay race. 326 purchase price, less than 60. Required 460 rent, like I said. Block size is 635, vacancy under 1%, bought in Queensland from interstate. And the science of property investing is learnable quickly. Like, honestly, I know so many people are like, oh, I really need, my pre-approval is expiring. I really need to buy in the next 1 month, 2 months. You can do that. It does not take a part-time job to learn and implement property investing techniques. It's so simple, so long as you have that laser precision focus. You can learn it quickly. Here's the property. I mean, I would have 10 of these in my portfolio at the start of when I was investing if I could. They're just gems. They turn into like ripe fruits. You just need to let them marinate or give them fertilizer, and they bring about your financial independence. Okay, number 7, I think, simple and solid off-market home bought with 6.9% yield under 350K. 2 properties in 12 months for Dipanshu here is tagged. Solid, low maintenance, foundational investment. Your first property investment should be very low risk. Of course, it depends on your own risk profile as a person and your strategy. You know, your strategy can evolve. The strategy you have at the start of your property investing journey is unlikely to be your strategy at your 10th property, because you gain skills, you gain knowledge, and you gain confidence and experience. Your first property, try to make it low risk so that it actually works, and then you'll get to your next, your catapult. Most people buy the first one wrong and they figure out property investing doesn't work for them. All right, so this is his second property. Twice now he's bought without a buyer's agent, $30,000 saved, purchase price $340K, total funds required less than 60, $450 a week in rent. Data's great, brick home, which, you know, is not a must-have, but it's nice to have. Weatherboard, you can renovate easily. I think you can make it look really nice, but it does require a little bit more maintenance every 7 to 10 years than a brick or a brick render. 607 square meters, which is like a classic sort of middle of the ground buy in terms of block size. Vacancy 0.76, bought in Queensland from Sydney without catching a single flight. And I want to reiterate, don't risk giving the keys to your financial future to someone else. No one. Let me seep this message into your mind. No one cares about you. No one cares about your money as much as you do. Maybe your family do, but they don't know enough 99% of the time to actually be competent as well as care. The people who are actually trying to sell you stuff, including me, we don't care about you as much as you do. Only you do. All right. So invest in yourself. That is the best investment that you should be making. And here's the property. Really fantastic. A property manager would love to manage a property like this. Number 8. 2 million worth of property in 6 months. The latest one is 6.5% yield. Queensland deal with bonus tax benefit. Okay, so Rocky actually did a video with him. I go check that out. He got the property bug. He just went on a buying spree for himself and his friends. And he's helping himself and others through his newfound skills. When you learn these skills, it's like a whole new hobby, but a hobby that actually allows you to become financially independent. People become addicted to property for a reason, okay? And this one's only 7 years old, which means there's depreciation bonus. It means that the depreciation expense, which is a non-cash expense, it's only an accounting adjustment. That's what depreciation is. That means that this property lowers your income tax, okay? It lowers your tax payable on your income and therefore puts money back in your pocket. Now, we don't buy just for depreciation, all right? Because remember, all those people trying to sell you properties because of huge depreciation benefits. If and when you sell property, that depreciation cumulative benefit, all that tax saved, gets added to your capital gains tax bill back to the ATO. Okay, so you have to be careful with depreciation. It's a short-term cash flow benefit for a long-term expense. Take it with that way, but if you never sell the property, then there's all gain, no pain. 422, great configuration, and it's bought for $422,000. 80,000 to get in. Rent is $530 a week. Vacancy 0.42, built in 2016. So he's not going to have to worry about any maintenance for a long time. But even if it was a 30-year-old property, as long as it's built and bought the right way, it also is not going to have any issues with maintenance. Just because it's new doesn't mean it's any better than an old property. He's bought this in Queensland from Melbourne, didn't catch a single flight, and he's not become dependent. He's not become like a leech on a property company, completely relying on them for his retirement. Okay, he's actually absorbed the knowledge, absorbed the responsibility, and taking charge of himself and his family's future. He's not paying a buyer's agent $15K to sell into properties of real estate and domain. Who wants that? Like, who honestly wants to pay $15,000 only for that buyer's agent to send properties off real estate and be like 3 bullet point pros? And it's like, do you want to buy it or not? It's like, well, I mean, I don't know. And that's really what people do. They outsource the accountability. They outsource the responsibility and end up buying duds without knowing it. Here's the property. Really fantastic. This one will always have a tenant. Number 9, 6.2% yield off-market deal in undervalued suburb. Ripple effect to kick in. I really want to talk about this because this is really important for suburb selection. Try to find a suburb that is cheaper versus the surrounding suburbs, yet the incomes are identical. So you know how people always say, oh, like prices in this suburb have gone up a lot and the next suburb is on its way to absorbing those price increases because it's right next door, it's adjacent. That only happens if incomes are also similar. Therefore, affordability or purchasing power of the demographic across those two suburbs is similar. If one goes up and the next one is kind of slightly poorer people or less well-off people, then that ripple effect doesn't happen as much. But it was the case in this suburb, and that's one of the reasons why Zach bought it, and it's fantastic. Regional location. It's literally growing every single month, and it's off market, not on real estate and domain. That's why he was able to get it for $360. And why do vendors not advertise every single property? It doesn't make any sense. Sometimes it's a deceased estate. Sometimes they want to be private. They don't want other people knowing that they're selling the house. Sometimes they don't want random strangers walking through their homes for inspections. Sometimes it's like a divorce and it's like a very sensitive situation. They want it done very clinically and in a sensitive manner. Sometimes it's like a rush sale. So they're like to the agent, we don't even have time to go on a 4-week marketing campaign and like spend all that time and do the whole shebang. We just need to get it done. Do you have people on your list? To the real estate agent, and the agent's like, yeah, I do, by the way, and just get a sale done. Or they might be real stingy. You don't want to spend $5,000-$10,000 on marketing on real estate and domain other places. So there's so many reasons why people sell off market. You just have to build a real quick relationship with those real estate agents. Take out the middleman buyer's agent. Buyer's agents have these real sticky relationships with real estate agents where they become like religious friends, and that's really a bad thing because then they don't negotiate, and the real estate agent sends them all these off-market deals and the buyer's agent is lapping it up, sending it off to their clients, getting through that wait list, making bank, not realizing and not caring that those off-market deals are terrible, which 90% of them are. Okay, so that's a lot for you to understand or absorb real quickly, but this is one of the good ones. Bought with under $60,000 for $360K. Rent is $430. Really good data. 1% vacancy, 601 square meters brick. Bought in Queensland from Melbourne. And Zach, that is, he wasn't fooled into buying an ineffective $2,000 to $3,000 course from literally hundreds of buyer's agents who are offering them now that then upsell you to their full service because they don't actually teach you how to do it. They just give you surface level information. There's literally hundreds and hundreds of buyer's agents that have copied my model, built courses, but they don't want to make themselves redundant. There's just an upsell, a gateway drug to their ultimate $15,000, $12,000, $20,000 buyer's agent service. Don't fall for that. Zach didn't fall for it. You shouldn't either. This is so terrific. This will last the test of time. And if you don't like the brick color, you can render it. There's so many things you can do with a solid bones type of property like this. Number 10 of 10. 6.2% yield, beautiful Perth property, bought $40,000 under bank valuation. This was a deceased estate. Okay, there are ways to buy deceased estates, etc., bank repossession sales for cheap, but I think those ways are kind of predatory and unethical. I don't teach that in a big way in my course, but if you do build relationships with sales agents, just like Zach did before, then you can achieve an outcome like Blaston did. And I have done a video on the client results playlist here on YouTube on how Blaston has actually done this, but through that relationship, he's found this deceased estate and he's bought it for $40,000, not under his own random valuation, but under true bank valuation. There's great depreciation benefits and it's an extremely hot suburb. Okay, he's bought now twice without a buyer's agent, saving $30,000. He's going to continue buying more, by the way. Watch that video. Purchase price $479,500. Needed $85,000 to buy it. CBA bank valuations $519. That's what I was talking about. $570 a week of rent. Fantastic data. This one's really good because the level of professionals that live in that suburb are really high, giving it really good stability. That's something to look out for when choosing a suburb. Really good vacancy rate, block size 670 square meters, built post 1987, so good depreciation benefits. 1995, brick home, bought in Perth from Sydney, didn't catch a single flight, had all the due diligence done to a more than satisfactory level, completely remotely. And he understands, Blaston does, that no one cares about your money as much as you do. Here's the property. I wouldn't mind living here myself. Not that that matters, like I said, but this type of property an owner-occupier will like, a future tenant will like, but also, and perhaps somewhat most importantly, a revaluer or a valuer will like, because when it comes to refinancing and taking equity out, the bank will often send a valuer to check out the property, and that valuer will make a subjective assessment as to the valuation of the property. When you have a property that looks like this, the valuer will just value it up to or beyond the suburb growth level, and that's exactly what we want. There are these tips and tricks to go under the bonnet and understand really how lending and valuation and property mechanics works. And when you understand that, this is so much that opens up not just at the property time of purchase, but as you grow your portfolio. That's why you need education, because it's not just about buying a property, it's about how you maintain it, how you evolve your lending structure, having the right team around you, and how you ultimately exit that so that you can exit your 9-to-5. Like I said before, facts don't care about your feelings. If you feel a little bit shy, should I buy now or wait? Where should I buy? What should I buy? Just put your feelings to the side. The property market's going up, okay, almost everywhere right now. So the best time to buy is now, so long as you know where and how. So educate yourself. You don't have to do my course. Like, at least, follow my Facebook group, Australian Property Mastery with PK. Follow me on my podcast, Oz Property Mastery with PK, Spotify, iTunes, Google Podcasts. Level up your knowledge. Invest in those 6 inches between your 2 ears, because no one else will. Everyone else will just want you to pay them money so that they can hopefully do a good job for you. Keyword being hopefully. Don't outsource the accountability of your financial future, guys. You've got this. Believe in yourself. All right, guys, hit the subscribe button, give it a like, and I'll see you next time. Bye.